everyone, welcome back to Body Haven Soaps. My name is Darlene and I am the owner and creator of Body Haven Soaps. The whole goal of this channel is to encourage and help other creators create. So today's recipe is going to be on making milk baths. Now, milk baths are one of those things that people are getting a little bit more excited about. They used to be a big thing way back when. Now they're coming back into style. I'm getting a lot more requests for them. And you see a lot more of them in the stores and things like that. So it's something that if you're going to add something to your bath collection, this might be an option for you guys. Now, there's many ways that you can do this, and in many ways I wouldn't do this. But in saying that, let's go over how I do this. I'm just making small little bottles like this to go in my gift boxes for Valentine's that I have to get done up and ready to go into the stores. So that is what I'm making this for. It's for my Bath Beauty gift box that will be going into the stores here soon. So I need to get a bunch of these made up, labeled, and ready to go. So I thought it would be a good video to bring you guys today. All right, so I'll get my gloves on. Now, when it comes to making milk baths, you guys, there is so many options you can pick from. As far as different milks to start off with, I am going to make a coconut milk bath. Coconut milk, I find it very luxurious in a bath, and it's actually a very popular milk right now. However, you can use your basic instant milk, skim milk, regular cow's milk powder. I'm just going to move you guys closer. As far as options go, we have, you know, your regular milk powder, so just your cow's milk powder, skim milk powder. It does feel great in the bath as well, and that is an option that you can use. We also have goat's milk powder that we can use to make a milk bath out of. We have our coconut milk powder. I get this from Soap and More out of Calgary. This is an amazing product here. I really like this one, and I use a lot of coconut milk. I really like what it brings to the properties. And then we also have your coconut cream milk powder. And these are both organic as well, but they bring a lot to it, and this is obviously a lot richer and creamier. You could do a combination of milk powders. Your options are almost endless when it comes to how creative you could be as far as milks go. You can do whatever you like. I'm using, as I said, the coconut milk today. The other thing that's very versatile with this, you guys, is you could put botanicals in there. If you don't want botanicals floating around in your bathtub, you could grind them really fine so that you don't see all those particles floating around. That's how I tend to do it when I'm adding botanicals. I'm going to add some colloidal oats into mine. You can, or you don't have to. So you can vary this recipe. There's two things that I would always add to this, and that is going to be my arrowroot powder. Arrowroot powder, it's a natural powder that's just ground from an arrowroot, but it does hold a lot of moisture, and it gives a very silky feel to the bath water. So I really like it in this product. So we have our arrowroot powder I will always use, and then also our dendritic salt. Okay, they both help keep these powders dry. Okay, and then we have our colloidal oats. I'm going to put a surfactant in this, so it's a bubble bath milk powder, but you could choose not to do that and just have a milk bath, or you could put surfactant in it to make it a bubble bath. I'm going to put Kaolin clay in mine, where you could opt for, you know, whatever clay you like. There's so many clays out there. You could put a French green clay in there for the color effect. You could use a black clay. You could do a lot of different things to just, even if you want to add color to this. Now, I wouldn't use a water-soluble dye to color this because simply, you know, it's just going to get your moisture way too wet, and you're not going to be able to deal with that. I actually don't put any water at all in this. You could use mica in this if you wanted to, but I prefer to color these with the natural clays or botanicals when I'm doing mine. Okay, but your clay is another option that you could do whatever you like with that. So the options are pretty great. Fragrance, you could use essential oils, you could use regular fragrance oils. The options to make this your own product is very easy to create. So it's a great recipe to show you guys. But these are the two ingredients that I would not change unless I was going to change the arrowroot powder for maybe a Nutrisorb. It does in the water, but you could absolutely use Nutrisorb to absorb the moisture. All right, so let's just get into how I make this, and then you guys, the options are endless for you to create your own product. So I do have 19 grams of the arrowroot powder. Now I'm going to start with my arrowroot powder. So I have 19 grams of arrowroot powder. And then I have the dendritic salt, and I'm putting 80 grams of the dendritic salt in there. And these are what I am going to mix my fragrance oil and everything with prior to mixing my other ingredients, simply because I want the oils to be stuck into this product and dissolve when it hits the bath water. It's kind of like Nutrisorb. Nutrisorb does the exact same thing. It holds on to it and it will not release that oils and stuff out into your product until it hits water. So kind of the same concept here is what I'm using this for. It's just a more natural way than using that. And I mean, Nutrisorb is just a modified tapioca starch, but it's gone through that whole process. But it does work great, and really it's not a horrible ingredient. I do use it in some of my things. If I wanted to add in, say, some type of oil, 5 or 6 grams of shea butter or something like that into my milk bath, Nutrisorb would obviously be the option I would use for that. But I'm not adding any butters or oils into this. I do find that you have to be very specific when you do that because it does pack in the bottle and shelf life is a lot less. All right, so fragrance oil, I'm using my Botanical Orchard fragrance oil, and I have 5 grams of that. Okay, so we're not using a whole lot of this. It's 1.3%. And then we have 2 grams of poly 80 in here, so it disperses that fragrance oil around the water when it gets into the bathtub. So 5 grams fragrance oil, 2 grams of the poly 80. I'm just going to stir this up, make sure it's the poly 80 and the fragrance are well mixed together prior to adding it. And then I'm just going to pour that into there. I'm going to get the fragrance oil off the stick. And then you can see how that just clumps up. Instantly it starts to, I don't know if you guys can see that, instantly it starts to absorb that and it becomes less greasy. So I'm just going to rub this around. And I'm not going to put any botanicals into this, you guys, but you could absolutely grind some botanicals or put botanicals in there whole, and it can add a lot of character. So now you can see that that's not damp. It has soaked up, right? It's not even going to hold together. So that fragrance oil is all blended in there really well. All right. So now that we got that in, we can go ahead and add the rest of our ingredients. So I am making this a bubbling milk bath. So I am using Sci Powder. You could use SLA, you could use whatever powdered surfactant you want. I find this is very gentle on the skin and it bubbles quite well. So I am putting in 10 grams of the Sci Powder. And be careful, this is pretty volatile, so it's going to puff up into the air. So I like to get that in there and just mix it around with those oils to get it a little bit dampened so I don't breathe in that in. You should always wear a mask when you're working with these powders. Okay, so we have that in there. This is the kaolin clay. Kaolin clay, we are putting in 30 grams. All right, so that is going to be our kaolin clay, 19 grams, sorry, of the kaolin clay. And then we have 30 grams of the colloidal oats. And colloidal oats are amazing skin soothing in the bath water. So I love to put those in there. You could make your own of these, but you have to get it really fine so it actually dissolves in the tub. You don't have chunkies floating around your tub, so just be cautious of that. And I'm just going to get all of this mixed in. You could put all of your powders through a sieve if you wanted to make sure you get all the lumps out. We are putting 80 grams of the baking soda in there. And that's just skin softening and stuff in the mixture. And then we are putting in 150 of the coconut milk. Make sure you well combine this. Make sure that it's mixed really well and everything is dispersed in there. You're not seeing any lumps, things like that. But the end product just looks like that. You can tell how dry that is, right? And I don't find that this clumps into my containers, and yet I have that fragrance oil and stuff in there. Like I say, if you want to add butters in there or anything like that, I would definitely use a Nutrisorb powder to hold on to those butters and oils. And that's how easy that is. Now I have two different ones that I will be using, and you guys, I just picked these up at the dollar store actually, and they work perfect in my gift boxes. So they just, oops, little containers like this. They come all sealed and stuff. So you just got to get the seals off of them. And then, let's see, let's get a pair of scissors here. Take the seals off them, and I spray them with a little bit of rubbing alcohol just to make sure that they're sanitized, right? And the tops, and we get that all drying and doing its thing. I already had a couple that I had sanitized, but as simple as that. So there's those options. You can get these. I also picked up these little containers at the dollar store if you just want to do it for a larger packaging, and they are self-sealing, and you could just shrink wrap around there. I shrink wrap around these ones. I find these work really well in my gift boxes. Another option, if you wanted to do a bigger one, is to pick up these containers. These are a little bit more expensive. I got these at the dollar store as well for $3. These were $1.25. And then you can get your little scoops like this that you could do a little thing with them on the side. So your options for packaging are pretty endless with this as well. I mean, kind of whatever your little heart desires. And simply, now that this is all mixed, all I'm going to do is take my funnel And I do like to pack them right to the top because they do settle a little bit. It is a powder, right? So I know we still have our little cap to put on, so we need enough room. This does settle, as you can see. When you tap that down, it settles quite a bit. And if you don't settle it and add a little bit more powder to that when you package it, it's not going to look very nice. It's going to look half full. So I tend to make sure that my containers are completely full. And that's probably plenty. Put the little cap on it. And then I will label that and shrink wrap that cap into place so that it doesn't pop off in my packaging. And I will put those in my little gift boxes. Pretty simple to do. Endless options, you guys. If you have any further questions, just ask them down below and I will do my best to answer them. But I just thought I'd bring you a quick video since I had to get these made anyways. And I hope that you guys have a great rest of your day.